Welcome to OState Daily. Casey Porter here, joined by Chase Witwiska on what is college football's Christmas Eve for Oklahoma State fans, as Oklahoma State is set to take on UT Martin tomorrow night. And so the Thursday night deal is weird. I don't blame Oklahoma State for these types of games to make as much money as you possibly can. I don't typically like non-Saturday games, but Chase, how the heck are you? Super excited to get things started. I'm not exactly sure what I'm excited about because I have no idea what in the hell to expect from this team. Neither do you. Neither does anybody watching. Neither does Coach Gundy. Neither does anybody, because I don't know how you could know what to expect.
No, you have no idea what to expect, but I think that's kind of what makes it so exciting, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the expectations that you had last year, honestly, because I don't have a whole lot of expectations. It's kind of just I want to see, and I want to get the bad taste of last year out of my mouth, and I think tomorrow's a way to start that, and just get back on the winning side of things. It's been a while since we won a football game, so I'm excited for that.
It's been a long time since we won a football game, no doubt about it. Okay, so let's dive in on the offense, and Hejny has been elected the quarterback. I think there's a couple of things here. Of course, the quarterback coach, Johns, came over and he followed him. So he has a history with his quarterback coach. I think that played a big factor. And then also, obviously had a history with the offensive coordinator that we love the offense. Well, at least I'm very excited about how the offense is going to go this year. So Hejny elected as quarterback. I think for some that comes as a surprise, because I think once you saw that you had the two transfers last year, Maya Lewacki-Smith and Garrett Rangel, I think it was just kind of assumed that the next guy up, they were transferring because the next guy up is Zane Flores. That did not happen. I'll say this, beyond just the fact that Doug Meacham and Coach Johns were both at TCU with Hejny, I'll say this, he won 2 state titles at Aledo. He's very fast, yes, but I just think the leadership skills and then the winning pedigree, I think when Coach Gundy won at Midwest City, he did nothing but win. He did nothing but win at Oklahoma State, whatever sport it was. I think also that played a big part in it too.
Yeah, no, I think so for sure. I was scrolling through Twitter like I usually do, and that popped up, and then I started reading some comments and stuff like that. And, there were a lot of people that had seen him in high school that were genuinely impressed with his passing skills, even more so. I mean, yes, the dude can run, but they were very complimentary of him as a passer as well. So when you combine speed with what is supposed to be an electric arm, you're going to find yourself in a good position, especially now. The game has changed to where you look at a lot of the successful quarterbacks even in the NFL with Lamar Jackson, with Josh Allen, and with Patrick Mahomes, and guys like that. More so Lamar Jackson. They can hurt you with their feet, but they can also hurt you with your arms. And what people don't think about, I think, as well, is, can he scramble? Of course, but he can also break the pocket and keep his eyes downfield. That is so hard to defend.
We think he can. We can.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah,
I'll let you know about that about week 8, right?
Just with those quarterbacks, though, it's so hard to ask your defense to fully stop a guy like that. You look at a guy like Spencer Sanders. Oklahoma State fans are familiar with and got to see a lot of. I'm assuming that Hejny is just as good of a runner, if not better, than Spencer Sanders.
Hopefully he's more decisive.
Yeah. Well, and I think
takes fewer chances.
With what we keep hearing about his speed, I think there's going to be a lot more. Hey, I'm just going to pull and run the ball, as opposed to try to make a huge play downfield, which Spencer Sanders did a lot of. Hey, I'm going to chunk the ball downfield and kind of see what happens. Or, hey, I'm going to try to fit it into this tight window, or things like that. I haven't seen this kid ever play, but just from things that you hear.
And nobody's ever seen him play at any kind of college level.
Yeah. I mean, but with what you hear, those are the assumptions that I'm going to make.
Yeah. Sub 11 in the 100-meter. He ran a 10.68. He can run over 21 miles an hour. So you have just ridiculous speed. You have what is reportedly a good arm. We don't know about the decision making, but I can tell you at Aledo, I'll bet you they didn't just turn around and hand the ball off. They probably had quite a bit in RPO. They had sophisticated enough offense to get a pretty good read on him being able to handle the complexities of how to run an offense. So you have incredible speed. You have a championship pedigree, two state championships at Aledo. You have massive leadership skills. One thing that if you talk to anybody that's been around Hejny, the first thing they'll tell you before they get into the type of quarterback he is or his physical skills, they'll tell you it's leadership skills. So winning pedigree, leadership skills, big-time legs, and supposedly a very good arm as well. That's kind of what you're getting in a bottle with Hejny. What you're not getting is any clue how he's going to actually perform at a college level. And, hey, we've said these same things about a million different kids throughout the years. They have this, they have that, and they have that, and they have this, and they didn't work out. So I'm not here to blow smoke up anybody's ass. Nobody can predict how Hejny's going to do, not even the most experienced people that have seen him in practice. But I will say he does have every characteristic, he has every trait, and he has every tool to be very good at this level.
He does, and seeing how kind of he conducts himself in interviews and kind of even just, as crazy as it sounds, some of the stuff he posts on social media and stuff.
That's huge. You can get fired from jobs for that kind of crap nowadays.
He seems like a very confident guy,
No doubt.
And that's something that you're going to have, especially as a quarterback at this, at this level.
Oh yeah,
you've got to have a little bit of swagger. You've got to have a little
100%.
bit of confidence. Jackson Dart is a perfect example.
How about Baker Mayfield?
Did
he have confidence?
Yeah. Those guys were successful, but they also carried themselves like, hey, I know I'm good. You know? And
because if you're good, you're the next play guy. You don't sit there and just, I just made a mistake. But hell no, you think the next play you're going to be the Super Bowl champion again, right?
Right. And that's that. And I don't know the guy by any means, but that just seeing how he conducts himself, those are kind of the vibes that I'm getting, and I kind of like it. I actually really like it. He seems like a guy that, if he does get hit laid out of bounds or something like that, he's probably going to jump in. Honestly, that's something that Oklahoma State need. They need something like that. That's not only going to get his teammates going, but it's going to get the crowd more amped up. And I
agree.
The juices are going to flow just a little bit more.
Yeah, don't go there, Chase. Don't go there. More than what? Don't go there. We're going to go one entire show without going to the more than what.
I held my tongue.
Don't go there. You have shown restraint and discipline to this point. We're going to continue to see. I'm showing my leadership skills right now.
There we go.
Yeah, no doubt. So super excited about Hejny, and good knowing that you have a backup quarterback like Zane Flores. And hey, that's not to say they both won't play. I don't know. I mean, you never can tell with Mike Gundy till about week 5 what the hell is going to happen with a quarterback, unless he has an obvious returning quarterback coming back. And I'll tell you this. The one thing, so you're going to have Hejny that can run the ball, which part of the problem with running the ball last year was that, okay, you're not allowed to talk about him, but I can, that Alan Bowman would not pull the ball and run to the other side of the offensive line of scrimmage. So all the defense had to do is go, okay, well, they're handing the ball to Ollie, and so we're just all going to run to Ollie, right? And then Alan Bowman maybe like 3 times made the defense. You can't do that. You got to stay balanced. You got to stay honest. He is going to make the defense have to respect both sides of the field, okay? And then I know Ollie was awesome, but I will take this year's running backs over last year's running backs for the reason that I think you have diversity. I think Rodney Fields Jr. maybe isn't quite as good as what Ollie Gordon was going to bring to the table last year, but when you look at Trent Howland, I love the way, Trent Howland's a good running back in and of its own. But I just like the contrast between, you run Rodney Fields, he's this guy. Rodney is powerful, don't get me wrong. But he's going to be the guy that, kind of the Thurman Thomas guy that finds a hole and then just kind of slips through it and then just kind of makes one cut and tries to outrun a guy. Where Trent Howland, you're going to have that guy. And then you're going to have Trent Howland that just runs people over. You're going to have Caleb Hicks, to me, is going to be kind of a mixture of those two. And then you're going to have Sesi Valahe, who to me, hey, maybe he's different than he was last year, is just kind of that reliable guy that if you need 2 or 3 yards and you block up 2 or 3 yards, that's what he's going to get. So I'll say this. This is a running back room. I'm not sure I've been this excited as a whole in a long time.
It's definitely deeper. I mean,
yes.
It's definitely deeper. You don't have you're not going to have a guy that's going to compete for a Heisman Trophy this year at the end of the running back position. At least I don't think so. But you do have a lot more depth. It seemed like last year.
And differences, diversity is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it seemed like last year and the year before, it's like it's Ollie, Ollie, Ollie. And
yes, right.
He was phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. He was really, really good. But that's taxing on a body.
100%
you get to week 8, week 9.
And a brain, yeah.
Good grief, man. I mean, you're getting hit left and right and left and right and left and right. But, I think with, like you said, with the diversity of the group and things like that, the running back room definitely seems deeper for sure.
Yeah. And we have a question here. Can't Flores run too? Absolutely, Flores can run. Of course, you had the broken foot thing last year, and I don't think anybody knows how well he can run at that point. It's one thing to see it in practice whenever you can't hit the quarterback, and usually they don't let the play finish. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, yes, Zane Flores can run. He can pass the ball. So you have two very talented quarterbacks. So I think you're in good shape at the quarterback spot. But I say that just guessing because, again, neither one of them have any college experience whatsoever. The crazy thing about the quarterback situation for Oklahoma State is that if all of them would have come back, the Oklahoma State would have gotten Hejny, and then they would have been able to kept Garrett Rangel and Milwaukee Smith, and then also Zane Flores. You know who would have had the most college experience out of all those quarterbacks?
Rangel.
No, Milwaukee Smith.
Really?
Yeah, that's how inexperienced the quarterback situation is at Oklahoma State. Milwaukee Smith, he feels like it wouldn't have been because he was the freshman guy, right? He actually would have been the most experienced college quarterback coming back for Oklahoma State. So I say that to say, no matter who you brought back, you are not going to have any kind of experience that really was worth a whole lot. Maybe Milwaukee Smith and maybe a little bit of Garrett Rangel. So why not at this time? You're not going to be experienced anyways. Let's just start all the way over. I think that's just kind of a complete reset for me.
Yeah, honestly, I with the situations and stuff like that, I don't hate where we're at. Even if all those guys would have stayed, my prediction would be that Rangel would have been the guy. Do I think that Rangel's a guy that could lead you to a Big 12 championship? I don't. I mean, I'm just honestly, and it's nothing against him. It's just I don't.
So you think Garrett Rangel left with the presumption that if he sticks around, he would have been the QB1? You think he would have left under those pretenses?
I don't think so. I think that he knew that was my guess, but I think maybe what would have happened is Flores would have gotten, the keys to the car, had Hejny not come in.
Because if Garrett Rangel doesn't leave, Hejny doesn't come. You would think, right?
Right.
So it's an either or. It's not both.
It's a toss-up. Maybe Rangel was just he felt like he wanted a new start. He hasn't felt like he got a fair chance or a fair shake at things or stuff like that, and he was better than who.
All of the above. All of the above.
I mean, he was better, and he didn't get that opportunity to play. You go back to
when the offense was suited for him, and Casey Dunn gave him a chance, he was better. When they were calling plays that are, golly, man, who was the guy against Colorado when Brandon Whedon came in? It wasn't a good performance by him back in 2010. The name's escaping me, but I mean, yes, he was terrible. But the play calling that night was so bad that you almost felt sorry for the guy. That's how I felt with Garrett Rangel, like in the Utah game and some of the opportunities he had. Like Casey Dunn was so bad, he didn't have a chance.
Yeah. Well, and you look at when the offense was suited for him at BYU.
Yes, that's what
good.
I mean.
I mean, it was really good. But that was, again, you go back to a guy that, and Rangel wasn't, I'm not saying he's slow, but he's not the fastest guy on the field.
He's fast, man.
What I'm saying is if you compare his speed to a Hejny type speed, it's kind of night and day difference. So I think that's another thing that's getting me a little excited, I guess you could say, is the fact that we are going to have a good athlete taking snaps. And I'm not saying the other guys.
No, not a good athlete. Hejny is not a good athlete, Chase. Hejny is an elite athlete.
Well, you know what I mean.
Now, is he an elite quarterback? I have no earthly idea.
No,
I have no idea. But he is an elite athlete.
Here's the other thing that's exciting is the fact that, assuming everything works out, you look to years ahead, this is a guy that's going to be here for 2-3 years. So you're going to have, whether it's Flores or it's Hejny, you're going to have a guy that's been in an Oklahoma State uniform that has played for Oklahoma State, taking snaps for 2 to 3 more years, consistently. And that's something with just consistent turnover, we haven't had that since Mr. Sanders, and then you get the half quarterback that we had prior.
You have a moratorium on it. You can't say the name.
I'm not saying the name, but everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, absolutely. So, Coach Gundy has learned so many different things in the last couple of years in terms of, hey, what do I need to do to continue to keep Oklahoma State relevant in college football? He's definitely done all those things. One of the parts of the changes that I think has kind of gone unnoticed or just kind of under the radar, you kind of felt like last year's offense, well, of course, it was very maligned because you had an Ollie Gordon and they gave him no space to run. I blame that about 90%. I'm a little bit different. I blame the offensive line problems last year almost strictly on Casey Dunn and his just ass play calling, and especially when it came to the run game. The run game was just ass, man. I don't know. I mean, it was terrible. I don't know how else to say it. And whenever your run game is as bad as in terms of scheme at a Division I level, your offensive linemen have no chance. I mean, there were times, now there's some to blame too, but there's times to where there's 2 or 3 guys are trying to block at the point of contact because your quarterback won't keep it, this or that. So I say that to say, I think one of the changes that Coach Gundy made that's going under the radar is that I think he specifically targeted offensive linemen that are bigger and don't get physically abused like we saw the offensive line do at times last year. And also, not just that, Chase, actually occupy more earth space, just be harder to get around. So I think one of the changes that Oklahoma State made was to go to a bigger offensive lineman.
Yeah. I mean,
am I wrong there?
No, not at all. You look down the list of their guys, each one of their starters is no less than 300 pounds. And I don't think they've got one that's below 6'3".
Yeah.
6'3" is their shortest.
They're all over 300 pounds, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
so at the very least, it's going to take longer to go around them, right?
Yeah. I mean, your center is typically, most of the time is going to be your shortest lineman.
Yeah.
Your center is 6'3". That's a big dude. Then you got 6'4", you got 6'6", you got 6'4", and you got 6'4" again. You've got a big offensive line.
Will Hejny be able to see over them? I mean, he's only 6 foot. They're going to have to move him a lot, I think.
Who cares? I mean, if they can protect him, that's all I care about. If they give him an ample amount of time to make decisions and give him holes when he's running or the running backs or whoever, if they give them holes and they give him time to throw the football, I don't care. I don't care if he's 4 foot tall. Give the guy a chance. And if they do that, he'll be fine.
Add to that offensive line a massive tight end. Josh Ford might be the best player at any position on this team.
Yeah, he's 6'6".
He's that big of a stud.
And he's a big kid. And he's a guy.
They better use him. I mean, if he's not the focus of your offense, I will be very upset. Whereas if Casey Dunn was still here, we'd still be trying to throw it to good receivers, don't get me wrong, but Josh Ford needs to get used more than the tight end has been used around here in a long time.
Yeah, I know. I fully agree. I mean, that's a big body for anybody to have to handle. You match him up with a safety, definite height advantage. You match him up with a linebacker. I'm assuming that speed. I'm not saying 100%. He's on a linebacker, but he's got at least a chance of doing so. And again, there's not many linebackers that are taller than 6'4". I mean, 6'4" is a big linebacker. So the guy's going to have at least 2 inches on a linebacker. So you put those things into perspective, and that poor safety that's playing man coverage on your tight end, good luck tackling him. I mean, you better have 2 or 3 more guys help you. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
that's a business decision.
He's an athletic guy too. I mean, you saw him last year jump up somebody. That is a big kid with a very athletic type of play, I guess you could say.
It translates to on the field. He's not just an athlete. He actually is an athlete on the football field.
Right. No, he's impressive, and if they have no option but to use him, in my opinion. I mean, that's another guy that was here last year that played meaningful snaps as a freshman. One of the few guys that you have that returned from last year that have played meaningful snaps in your uniform. You would think that they have to use him.
Yeah. So here's some exciting ways that you need to use Josh Ford. Just spitball idea off the top of my head. So you mentioned, hey, you really can't cover Josh Ford with a linebacker because he's going to be faster than a linebacker, and you can't really cover him with a safety because he's going to be too big one-on-one against a safety. That's why like a Trey Rucker was so valuable, was that he could kind of do both. He was 6'3", so he could kind of match up that way. So really what you're going to have to do is you're going to kind of have to bracket a guy like Josh Ford and maybe play the linebacker underneath and play the safety on top, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So having said that, when you have a quarterback that has the speed of Hejny, that can, you're rolling over the top of Josh Ford. I'm just going to pull this sumbitch down and run back over the other side of this thing, and he's the fastest guy on the field. I mean, you have a lot of ability. So, like, the defense can't just roll over and say, hey, we're going to stop Josh Ford, because Doug Meacham is going to be creative enough to go, well, okay, great, roll a safety over there. Then we're just going to run out a couple of receivers on the other side of the field. We're going to tell Hejny to scramble away from Josh Ford, and he's going to go to the house.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of little combinations like that Doug Meacham is going to be able to do with Josh Ford and Hejny.
Yeah, and again, going back to Josh Ford, somebody that he reminded me of when we started to talk about him a little bit was Jason Witten. And
yes.
So I just looked up out of curiosity what the size of Jason Witten was. He was 6'6", 265.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Josh Ford is.
Yeah.
And
use him. Use him.
Obviously, Jason Witten, Hall of Fame type guy. I'm not saying that he's that type of guy, but in terms of comparison, they're the exact same size.
Hey, Jason Witten was Josh Ford at one point.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of potential.
With Josh Ford. You tell me somebody on the team that with more NFL potential than him. Who is it?
There's not. I don't think there is.
That's right. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He's probably the best player on the field. Use him. I don't want to hear this, hey, we want to get it out to a fat, which, hey, you got Brendan Presley, you got Deshaun Stribling, of which, according to me, the last podcast, he doesn't exist. Which was like I mentioned last time, the residential dumbass moment of the OState Daily of all time, and then the biggest residential dumbass was our Edmond boy with the ACL. Not even mentioning that. That was really stupid on our part. And then also, I mean, how stupid is that? We don't even get the UCO boy in the show last time, Terrell Davis, man, who's supposed to be, so Oklahoma State. They always have that. I always like to use examples like the Marcel Aitman, which lines up to the boundary. He's your third down jump ball guy. It's 3rd and 8. The offensive coordinator really doesn't know what to call. Let's just call a fade pass to our biggest receiver to the boundary. Those are my Dodgers dogs right there. Let's just throw a fade pass to our biggest receiver and let Marcel Aitman just high point the ball. So you have that receiver, then you have the James Washington on the other side that goes deep and outruns everybody on your double post. Mm-hmm. Then you have the little guy that catches all your little bubbles and under screens. Okay, so I think the way it's shaping up is that Terrell Davis is going to be the James Washington type role and stretch the defense.
Yeah. I mean, you could compare him to that, or you could, if you want to go more recent, maybe a Tylan Wallace type guy. Again, it's another guy if you look at what he did last year, a lot of people, he's a D2 guy. So what? Who cares? I mean,
what was his name from George Fox? Leon Johnson III? He was freaking good. That was Division III. All that to be said, if people aren't familiar with kind of the MIAA in terms of football and things like that, it's the best Division II football conference, in my opinion, in the country, if not one of them. And the dude just absolutely tore up that entire conference last year. Stupid impressive. I'm extremely excited to see what he does at this level. One thing that came to, kind of that was a shock for me was seeing Gavin Freeman in the 2 slot. I still think he's going to play quite a bit.
and maybe use him in different packages in different situations.
That receiver, it doesn't matter, man.
Yeah. I mean,
they're gonna be carted in and out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and he's a guy.
That's just words on paper.
He's got stupid speed. You're going to see him returning punts, I believe. You're going to see him returning kicks, things like these. He has top end speed. But Sam Jackson, the guy that is actually going to start over him, according to the paper, he's going to be on the field first. Big deal. Who cares?
Sam Jackson's kind of hey, we might strike gold here, and then we might not.
Yeah.
Who is the guy from? Not the same body type, but we got from LSU. 7 or 8 years ago, we threw on 4th down and 8. We threw like a 78-yard bomb to him, and he was actually open. Really fast guy. Remember him? 4 or 5-star guy we got at LSU. That's kind of who Sam Jackson reminds me of.
Yeah, and this is also a guy that you're getting, if I'm not mistaken, he's coming from Auburn. I mean, so he has SEC experience. He has he's played at that level before, and
yeah.
Here's the thing that kind of is exciting too is you have a lot of guys and Coach Gundy said this in his press conference. You have
California, then Auburn.
Mm-hmm. You have a lot of guys that have experience.
TCU before that. Sorry. So Sam Jackson, then TCU, Cal, Auburn, now Oklahoma State. Hopefully he hits.
Yeah, hope so. He's on 4 schools. At this point,
it's fine.
Where college football's at right now, I don't think about that.
It's transaction. That doesn't. He's probably not going to be one of my favorite players of all time, but if he can catch a pass to win a game, I'll love him. Exactly. It's that kind of transaction for me as a fan.
Yeah, and I think that's what it has to be from here on out.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's done good things in camp if he's starting over Gavin Freeman. That's got to be exciting. And those are big shoes to fill because behind last year that was Brennan Presley. That was a guy those are tough shoes.
Was he any good?
Yeah, he was really good. He ended up on the Rams practice squad.
Hell nice.
Kind of crazy, didn't get on the 53, but it is what it is. I'm sure he'll get his opportunity. But yeah, no, and then you've got Christian Fitzpatrick. I think is he the Marshall guy? Guy from Marshall?
Yeah.
A really, really big receiver, 6'4", 220.
Huge, yeah. He's their big guy.
He's a good-sized guy.
He's the guy on the other side. He's the Marcel Aitman.
Yeah. It would kind of remind, like if you want to go more recent, Leon Johnson, I think was, 6'6". You're going to have a big receiver, which that's encouraging. That's probably your jump ball guy. Go up and get it and snag it. And but what I was saying again is you have guys that have Division I college football experience outside of Terrell Davis, who has Division II, but who cares? They all have college football experience and have played at the big time level. They just haven't done it in an Oklahoma State jersey yet.
Yeah.
But again, you're going to see more and more and more of that as the years progress. I mean, it's just it's open season. You can go and do whatever you want whenever you want to do it at this point. So I'm like I said, I'm excited to see the offense and see him perform, and I think you're going to see an explosive offense, which is going to be refreshing.
I certainly hope so. We'll see. Move on to the defensive side of the ball, Chase. And we were talking earlier. I like how this defense is going to have the ability to really kind of be very hybrid in many different ways. We'll get into that here in a minute, but just kind of cover the defense for a second.
Yeah, I mean, you got Iman Oates back, who was played a significant role last year, in my opinion, filling in spots and coming in tough spots. You've also got a lot of transfer guys that I think are going to make immediate impacts, but you also got guys returning. Cam Smith's a guy. I think you got 3 Smiths in the DB room.
2 corners and a safety. Kale and I believe Cam are the 2 corners, correct?
Kale and Cam.
And then Dylan's the safety?
Yes.
Man, It is so nice to have experience in the back end of a secondary. Oh.
It is, yeah. especially when you have guys that are new, that are incoming to kind of build the front 9. And I say the front 9, but you got our guy from Tom, Aiden Kelly. Last year, played a lot of special teams. I like
Thomas Terrier. Yeah, love that guy. Yeah,
I really like that guy. I met him at a Tumbleweed one night. He was
a
cool guy. You
can talk crap around him because you can just kind of hide behind him and let him take care of all the work for you.
That's the guy you want on your side, no doubt. But again, you go back, you look at the size of these guys. You got a defensive end, and Jaquil Johnson, I believe, is the guy from Colorado that got to play at Putnam City. I could be wrong, could be getting them mixed up. But he's 6'5". I'm
talking about Jaleel Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Putnam City North, PC.
Jaleel Johnson.
He's beyond Josh Ford. He's the second guy, and probably maybe Rodney Fields. Of course, always the quarterback, but Jaleel Johnson is the one that I think he's the defensive version of Josh Ford.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be really, really good. He's playing defensive end at 6'5". You got Iman Oates at 6'3". You've got
let that guy play, man. They just had Iman Oates just take up space last year.
Yeah,
that's the one complaint I have about Nardo is that he didn't ask his defensive lineman to make plays. He just kind of asked him just to take up space and let the linebackers make plays. That's fine when you had Nick Martin, but once you didn't have Nick Martin, dude, Iman Oates can freaking play, man. Let him go.
Yeah, no, he's really impressive. It's a guy that you definitely wanted to have back, and you're glad that he is back. You got Parker Robertson back, who. Again, another guy that has experience in this setting. I think that's going to be valuable. Brandon Rawls, we were talking about him earlier. He's a guy that I think is going to have to fill a significant role at the linebacker position when you lose Nick Martin. You lose Colin Oliver, who's kind of your hybrid, which is listed as outside. They have it listed as outside linebacker, and Wendell Gregory, who's the starter for him this year. Those are big shoes to fill. Mm-hmm. But from things that I've seen, from video that I've seen, and from things that I've heard, it's a defense that's going to be really, really athletic. They're going to be really fast. They're going to be physical, and they're going to cause offenses a little bit of a panic because they're going to come after you. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think Coach Grantham is kind of known for being a very aggressive play caller,
until it's third down.
Yeah, well,
that's what I worry about.
I hope it's just all out. Like, you're going to have to beat us.
I just hope. I mean, this is all due respect, because I love Coach Gundy. I just hope when Coach Gundy gets on the headsets and goes, play deep, because we don't want to give up a big. I hope he gets back on the headsets and goes, shut the hell up. I'm the defensive coordinator. I've been a defensive coach in the NFL. I don't need any suggestions. Thank you very much. I just hope that happens. I don't think that has been happening at Oklahoma State lately. Of course, I'm being exaggerated here, but you kind of understand what I'm saying.
I mean, you go from two relatively young coordinators to two guys that have been around it for a long time.
Right. So just leave them alone, let them do their job.
Yeah, a guy with NFL experience, and then you've got Coach Meacham, who's been coaching for 30-something years. A long time. So you have tons of experience in your coordinators that I don't think that you didn't have that before. You didn't. Mm-hmm. It was kind of first opportunity type of guys. This is not these guys' first opportunity, but according to them, it was the right one. So I'm excited to see kind of what their experience, how that comes into play, because I think we've lacked that for a while.
Mm-hmm. So Coach Gundy's a guy that won't necessarily tell you what play to run, but he's going to go, hey, we need to beat this hole, and we need to beat it with this kind of concept. And so you need an offensive coordinator that can think fast enough to go, okay, well, he wants to beat this hole right here with this type of concept. What do we have in our playbook right now that we can actually do? What play do we have that can actually hit that hole that he wants to hit with the concepts he wants to do it with that we actually know and can execute? Doug Meacham is going to be able to do that 1,000 times over. I mean, 1,000 times over. Like Coach Gundy's going to go, hey, well, that safety over there, he's dropping 6 yards, so we need to beat that safety by throwing something in front of him. I mean, it's going to be like that. And then Doug Meacham is going to have like 7 different concepts to beat that safety 5 yards in front of him. That's what I'm so excited. Versus a Casey Dunn who's like, well, I put together a game plan this week and I didn't have anything like that in my game plan. So sorry, Coach, we're just kind of screwed. And then at the end of the game, Coach Gundy's pissed because nothing that he wanted done gets done. And now we're talking about how the game plans weren't good. That's not Doug Meacham. Hey, there's game planners and then there's game dayers. I will take a game dayer anytime over a game planner. Meaning, okay, once the game starts, can you be the better coach than who you're going against? I just will not be convinced until I see it with my own eyes that Doug Meacham is not going to be just totally badass as a game coach, just looking at what's going on and playing the chess game and being a better game coach than who he's going up against. I'm super excited about that part. Am I too excited?
No, I don't think so at all. And I think a part of the excitement is just because it's a change that's been long overdue, and we've been used to the same old, like still staying mad at the offensive coordinator, still questioning over and over and over again, like, what are we doing? I think that's where the excitement comes in. It's a change, and it's a good change. It's a guy that has experience.
Oh, yeah.
A guy that has proven that he can do things at a big-time level, as opposed to saying, hey, we'll give it a shot, and see kind of what happens. I think, again, that's why I'm so excited for this season, is because it's scary that there's been so much change, but at the same time, it's exciting that there's been so much change, because I was tired of the same crap over and over every single week.
So the best defenses in football, or the best teams, everybody does their part, right? Like, hey, this is your role, do your role, and then trust your teammate to do theirs, and everybody will do their part. So it feels like this year, this coaching staff has that feel to it. Like, okay, our quarterback's coach is our quarterback's coach. Leave his ass alone. Leave Coach Johns alone. Let him do his thing. Doug Meacham is the offensive coordinator. Let him do his thing. Todd Grantham's the defensive coordinator. Let him do his thing. Where it's felt like in the last, 10 or 15 years, it's just been a conglomeration of, yes, we have titles, but I'm not exactly sure Casey Dunn is 100% the offensive coordinator, and then the head coach is calling defense about half the damn time. So it just kind of feels like everybody's been trying to do and then none of the older coaches last year actually wanted to run Brian Nardo's defense, and so it just didn't feel like you had a cohesive unit that was, okay, this is your job, just do your job. Beyond that, shut the hell up, right? Yeah. It feels like we haven't had that. It feels like we do have that this year, and I just think that's going to really help the players more than anything, because it's going to define their roles. They're going to know who to. It's like when you have 3 or 4 baseball coaches and they all teach hitting, and a kid gets advice from one coach, and then the next day a different coach tells them something totally different, and it's like, well, what the hell do I do, right? You got to pick which coach you like the best. I really feel like that's what we've been having going on with Oklahoma State football. I feel like that has all been solved. Every kid on this team is going to know exactly which coach to talk to, what information to get, and it's going to be black and white for them.
Yeah, I think this is the first year in a long time that you're going to see Mike Gundy be able to be a head coach.
Good point.
And what I mean by that is he's not constantly looking over his shoulder. He can go and talk to his quarterback when his defense is on the field. He can go and talk to his DBs when the offense is on the field. He can coach. He can openly coach both sides of the ball without having to sit there and worry, crap, what's happening now? What's happening? I think there's already a trust factor there, again, because of experience. This is the first year, in, like I said, in a long time, that you're going to see him actually be able to be a head coach.
Relaxed-wise.
Yes.
I mean, I think another thing we're seeing, to me, I'm seeing a more, of course, this is coming from my coach's perspective, and we're kind of trained, to see the inner workings of the way somebody's operating. I mean, basically what our job is, Chase, you know this, you've been a coach for long enough. Our job is to read mannerisms. Our job is literally to read emotions. Our job is to read if something's wrong or something's good, or if something's good, write it, get the most out of that good moment. If something's bad, cut it off of the past. But to do that, you have to read mannerisms, which is why we were right along the whole way last year. Just go back to the receipts of our show. I don't mean this to sound cocky or whatever, but I mean that we were right on where Coach Gundy was at, where the coaches were at, this and that, on all of our shows last year, okay? So I say that to say this is an extremely relaxed Coach Gundy, because I think for the first time he's like, well, we knew these changes were coming. I didn't know what the hell to do. I know what to do now. I have a game plan together. So that relaxed him. And then also I think, in sports, whether you're a player or a coach, all you can do, Chase, is do your best. I think Coach Gundy feels like he put his best foot forward. He's figured out how this new college football can work for Oklahoma State. beyond that, really, he can't control anything else. So I think he's very relaxed from that perspective.
I do too. And I think when you keep thinking about and keep digging into what I kind of what I said in terms of this is going to be the first time he's been able to be a head coach, I think you're going to get a little bit of a more of a Mike Gundy that you're used to seeing, a little bit more fiery, a little bit more energetic, a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more excited, a little bit more emotional. And
less cheerleader and more challenger. That's what I want.
Yeah, I'm not going to say he's going to be, just please keep the camera on him 24/7, because he has to, as a head coach, you have to still remain cool, calm, and collected. You can't let your emotions get too high or too low.
Sure.
But you can also show emotion. That there is a
yes, you can.
There's a fine line between just being completely monotone the entire time, no ifs, ands, or buts, doesn't matter what's happening. But I truly think when you have big moments this year and the camera pans to Mike Gundy, or you're sitting in the stands and you look over at the sideline, you're going to see him get a little bit more excited. You're going to see a little bit more energy. You're going to see him get after referees. You're going to, there's things that you're going to see this year, in my opinion, that you haven't seen in a few years. And again, I think that comes back to he is more relaxed because he has a coaching staff that I feel like he can trust. It's a coaching staff that he knows has experience in whatever situation they're in, whether it be a super tight Big 12 game, whether it be a Big 12 championship game, whether it be, heck, if you go to college football playoff, all these guys have coached in big-time games and in big-time experiences. He doesn't have to sit there and just be like, holy crap, what is going on? It's going to be, hey, this is my team. These are my guys. I'm going to trust them. Let's ride. I think that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. Here's kind of the best version of Mike Gundy is the cocky little shit, if that makes any sense. That's literally, if I could put the best version of Mike Gundy in a phrase, that's it. He's a cocky little shit. That's what's always made him good, whether it be wrestling or baseball or football. He pisses everybody off that he plays against. But if he's on your team, you love the guy, right? That is Mike Gundy. So the best version of Mike Gundy isn't the one that's going up and being a cheerleader and clapping and going, okay, guys, come on, guys, let's go. The best version of Mike Gundy is the little shit that goes up to his teammates and go, hey, bro, what the hell was that, man? This is Oklahoma State football, man. That doesn't cut it, brother. You got to do better than that, right? So the Mike Gundy, the best version of Mike Gundy is the one that's not worried about who he's pissing off, not worried about the feelings of whether it be the quarterback or the punter or whoever it may be. He is the guy who actually, instead of cheerleading his team, he's challenging his team. Yeah. Mike Gundy is the best that I have ever seen at challenging players and people, for that matter, either by pissing them off or by, just kind of throwing something out there that makes you think, and then he building you back up or whatever. So the version of Mike Gundy I want to see is the Mike Gundy that's challenging his players and not cheerleading them.
Yeah. And if you kind of go back to some of the key moments just over the course of his career, one that kind of stands out to me is, you've got the picture of him in the cowboy hat. You've got the video of him kind of hyping up the crowd when him and Tom Herman get after it. Just right. That's I'm
taking Gundy in that. Gundy's going to drop a single leg and kick Herman's ass at that point. That's my opinion.
I think that's the Mike Gundy that you're going to get this year. Yeah. I really do, and I hope that's the case. That's because here's the other thing too. If you put yourself in a player's perspective, and you put yourself in a player's shoes, whether it be for recruiting purposes for the next year, or just to have the guys that you have around on campus at the moment. You have a guy like that, that's a guy that you want to play for. That's a guy that you want to go to battle for. That's a guy that, whatever you say, I'm going to do it 100 miles an hour, even if it's not right. If it's not right, they have the trust factor there, and it's just, again, it's a guy that you want to do well for because you respect him, and at the end of the day, he's going to have your back. I've seen him be that before, and again, I think you're going to see him be that guy this year.
I totally agree. So back to the defense. So whenever you have Cam Smith and Cale Smith at the corner, Dylan Smith at safety, you could throw Parker Robertson out there. That's four guys with good experience. Probably more experience than most college teams with this. I haven't looked at other teams' rosters, but I would imagine that's a pretty experienced roster whenever you look at just the comparison of what other people have. So when you have experience on the back end plus talent, those are talented people. When you have that and you have an NFL defensive coordinator, and you know that you have an experienced secondary that can cover whatever it is you're doing up front. That experience in the back end allows your defensive coordinator to play all sorts of games with his front six or front seven. And that's really probably, I think, coverages, being able to cover on the back end, not just cover, but what I mean is cover up a bunch of games you're playing on the front end of things. That's literally what Todd Grantham is. So I think probably the most excited thing I am about this defense is watching the experience of the secondary be able to cover, which will allow the front seven to be really creative. So I think Nardo is very creative in his coverages on the back end. I think that Grantham's going to be very creative on his front six type of action. Then he's going to use the back end, the experience, to make sure that you don't get killed on the back end. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, no, I am too. I think, again, if you go, even if you kind of look at the defense that they're going to play and things like that, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
What I mean by that is if you've got guys that are versatile, you've got that star that's it's a hybrid linebacker slash safety. You've got an outside listed as an outside linebacker that, in my opinion, is going to be more of a hybrid defensive end linebacker. You've got things and you've got schemes. You got people that are going to be able to do multiple things.
Yes.
Which really opens up your playbook as a defensive coordinator, and as an offensive coordinator, calling an offense against that is really, really hard because you have guys that can line up in multiple different spots and do multiple different things at multiple different times. And that's without having to change your personnel, which you brought up earlier. That's going to be really, really hard to call plays against. It's like, hey, so-and-so's coming in, they're going to go, they're going to go cover 4, they're going to play deep, whatever. As opposed to that, you're going to get, Coach, what do you see? Well, I see the same 11 that I've seen on the field the entire game. Well, what do you think they're going to do? I don't know.
Beats the hell out of me.
They could send 8 guys, or they could drop everybody but 3. I have no idea.
With the same people on the field, without bringing the telltale of bringing a new player in. Yeah,
right.
That's a good point.
There are going to be situations, I'm sure, to where you're going to see, if it is an obvious, no doubt, like, hey, we've got to cover. You're going to have to change personnel. You're going to see a little change in that. But for the most part, you go first down, second down, third down. You're going to have the same guys on the field, or the same not caliber guys, but same guys that fit exactly what you're doing. You're going to have multiple guys that can play multiple positions, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's going to be really hard to call an offense against. And again, like I said, it really opens up your playbook as a defensive coordinator to really do whatever the heck you want, whenever the heck you want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the biggest things that you watch when you evaluate film in football is you watch what guys are coming on the field.
Yeah.
So that's called personnel packages. So especially on offense, like when they bring in number 48, they go to this personnel package, or when they bring in number 92, they're bringing in, they're in 10 personnel, or whatever it may be. Okay. So then you go, okay, well, whenever they bring in number 34 and they're in 10 personnel, and then whenever they're in 10 personnel, they throw the ball 50% of the time. Then when they throw the ball 50% of the time, if it's to the near hash, and then it's to this guy, and then if it's 8 yards and above, then it's to that guy. That's how you scout football and put a game plan together.
Yeah.
So literally at the top of that whole snowball, okay, of that whole entire hierarchy, is the fact that they brought in a new player that has a number on his back that lets you know what personnel package they were going to be in. So now, just simply by one thing not happening, one player with a number on their back not coming in, you can't go through that whole hierarchy as a coach to break down, well, when 48's in, they're in 10 personnel. When they're in 10 personnel, they throw 60% of the time. When they throw 60% of the time on 3rd and 8, they throw it to this guy. You can't do any of that if they don't bring in any new people. So with the hybrid defensive end / outside linebacker, hybrid safety / linebacker, the Cowboys with Todd Grantham are going to be able to go from a 4-2-5 to an odd stack to a 3-4 to a like you said, to an 8-man rush to a 3-man rush or whatever it may be, with no tips to the offensive coach, because the offensive coach can't go, hey, they're bringing in 38, so they're going to go to the 3-4. They're bringing in 43, so they're going to the 4-2-5. Or they're bringing in 65, so they're going to rush 5. There will be nothing like that. Really, the only time you're going to bring in new players is just because the one player that they're replacing needs a breath. And so that ability to disguise what you're doing with the people on the field, to me, with an NFL coordinator, I am so pumped to watch that cat and mouse game.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's just going to be looking at his chops the entire game. He's going to have his play sheet in front of him, and honestly, he's probably going to just be sitting there giggling in his mind like, this guy has no idea what I'm doing. There's going to be 11 people in the entire stadium that know what, or I'm sorry, 12 or 13 people that in the entire stadium that know what I'm doing. That's myself, that's Coach Gundy, and that's the 11 guys on offense or on defense. Those are the only guys that have any clue of what's going to go on. The guys sitting right next to me in the booth right next to me have no idea what's happening. The head coach on the field has no idea what's happening. And at that point, it's like I said, you're kind of sitting there snickering to yourself, like, hey, this is kind of fun. You know, this is enjoyable. This is something that is going to be really, really, really hard to stop. And you know, I think we're going in with super high expectations, which I'm going to try to limit that. But at the same time, that's without seeing them play. But you know, I think a lot will be told after tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe.
I was about to say maybe not the full story, considering who you're playing, considering those things. But that being said, at the same time, these coordinators are coming in with like, you know, hey, I kind of want to put on a show for the people that are in the stands. I want to put on a show for the people that are watching on TV, because this is my, you know, this is kind of my first showing. You know,
Yep.
this is how people are going to kind of get to know me and kind of get to know what I do and kind of what our identity is going to be.
Yeah. Well, I got about 1 minute here. My Dodgers dogs, they're ready to go on a WALK. I can't say the word because they'll lose their minds if I do. I'll say this, though. Hey, do I know how good Terrell Davis is at this level? No. Do I know how good Shamar Rigby is? Do I know how good Sam Jackson is? Do I know we know how good Caleb Hicks could be? But what I will say is that I know how good Dwayne Lofton is. So if Terrell Davis is listed above him, that tells me what the coaches think of him, and they're the ones who would know. So I think that's exciting from there. But beyond that, hey, guys, this has been a wonderful show. We've had a good crowd. Hopefully these crowds continue to grow as we do these live shows over the season. Chase, this has been awesome, man. Final thoughts.
I'm excited for tomorrow. You know, I'm excited to see, honestly, this new brand of Oklahoma State football. I'm excited to see kind of what to look forward to in the 2025 season, and I'm excited to get to know the players. I'm excited to get to know kind of what to expect from
and the coaches and and the trainers and
yeah. I mean, it's really it's the first chance that we're going to be able to see everything that's new, and to me that's exciting. So that's what I'm looking forward for.
Yeah, we have a comment here from David Spittler. It's all going to come down to who has the best offensive line and can be cohesive. No doubt about it. So that's going to do it for today. Hey, Chase, thanks again for joining. Awesome job. Looking forward to doing this all season long. So, hey, to all of you wonderful Oklahoma State fans out there that join, tell everybody else to come over to the OState Daily YouTube, put on your notifications. Whenever we throw a video out there, it will notify you we're going on, and come join the chat. So thank you so much for joining. And as always, go Pokes.